Sure where it's going to go experientially, but I'm having a feeling I may be actually singing with all of you.
You might have to sing now.
And to tell us more is singer, songwriter and vocal coach Barbara Prestia. Please welcome Barbara. Just getting the mics worked out there, so maybe I could sing the song for a little while.
You're saved, Anthony. She's good to go.
Okay, all good.
I hope not.
All good.
You got it.
Okay.
All good.
Go. Let's go, Barbie.
Thank you. I'm good to go. Good to go.
This woman is also doing a lot of activism and really getting the message out about a lot of topics as well. Like, she really is like a real warrior and really gets the whole picture. So I'm really looking forward to your contribution today.
Thank you. Thank you, and thank you all. I just had the most amazing couple of days, and yeah, it's just been awesome listening to all of you and just feeling the energy in the space. My name is Barbara Prestia. I am a classically trained singer, and I've worked with Opera Queensland and done a few shows with them, and so I've come from a very rigid kind of training, and recently I've been experimenting with sound healing, and I'm also a vocal coach. And my journey with voice is my life journey, really. And I think it's everyone's life journey, to be honest. We all, when we are born, we take our first breath and we make our first sound. But then something kind of strange happens as we go through childhood. We get told to be quiet. Teachers, I've heard this many times, tell their students they can't sing. You sound awful. You're out of tune. Hands up, who's had that said to them? Yeah, it's very sad. Very sad, because that's where our power is. And so and sometimes these are people that we really love and trust that are telling us these things. So it's really hurtful in a lot of ways. So I want to tell you about my journey with the voice, but I don't want to talk too much because I do want to get you up and vocalizing. So who's up for getting up and doing some stuff? Great. What I understand about the voice is that it is intrinsically who we are. We each have an individual vocal sound. Our sound is as unique as our fingerprint. And what I find with that is I get a lot of people coming to me for singing lessons who want to sound like someone else. Lady Gaga. I want to be like Lady Gaga. And I say, well, Lady Gaga's great, but, why can't you be like you? Because she's perfect. But is she perfect? No, she's not. She's Lady Gaga, and she's being individual and, whatever she's doing. But we need to be individual. We need to understand and connect with our own voice. That's kind of my passion, and that's what I do. And I'm so blessed that I get to work with such a diverse range of humans that come through my studio, all from little kids through to adults and children on the spectrum, and also adults, yoga teachers, Pilates teachers, people that don't even necessarily want to sing but want to strengthen their voice. A perfect example is a dear friend of mine who's a yoga teacher actually, and she she'd come to me and said, Barb, I'm always losing my voice. I'm doing a lot of classes and I really think I need to do some singing lessons. And I said, great, let's get into it. So she started and she was just loving it, not just the fact that she's vocalizing, but how it makes her feel in her whole body, because singing is a whole body experience. It's not just here. And so she's now just recently releasing her first album, Mantra album. So I'm so proud of her. She's singing beautifully. Her yoga students, which some of them are here, are really benefiting from her most beautiful healing sound. And it's stories like that, and I'm just so grateful and blessed I can be part of supporting that process. I really don't do much in what I do. I just sort of guide my student in finding, I guess, what they lost. So with that, I want you all to stand up for me. Because the first thing about the voice is we've got to get aligned. So posture is really important in creating a nice flow of sound. So I want you to all just maybe close down your eyes for a second and just imagine you've got a string at the crown of your head and it's pulling you up. And you want your ears in line with your shoulders. And just observe your breath. Don't force your breath. Are you breathing in your chest? Are you breathing in your tummy? Be aware of where you're breathing. Now what I want you to do, you can open your eyes but stay standing, is I want you to imagine that you have two big inflatable balloons here, because that's where our lungs are. And a lot of the times we are breathing up here, and really where we need to be focusing our breath for singing and speaking is here. So I want you to take a breath in and with your mind direct it into your back. So take a couple of breaths there. It's good, I'm not seeing any shoulders lifting. That's excellent. Often when I do this with kids, they're like, I've taken a big breath. And basically they haven't really taken a big breath at all. So we're going to take that a little bit further. So I'm going to have your hands by your side. And I want you to take the breath in, and then we're going to make a hissing sound. I will do one so you can watch what I do. Hissing sound, and we're going to raise our arms all the way up, and we're going to get rid of all the air in our lungs like we're sort of wringing out a sponge. And then once we're up here and we've taken every last bit of air out, we're going to let the air fall back in. Just allow it to fall back in, and I want you to feel a lovely expansion in the back of in the back here. Okay, so I'll do one so you can all watch. And it's amazing. You'll feel this lovely stretch in the back. So you ready to give it a go? I can't hear you. Ready to give it a go? Yeah. All right, let's give it a go. Ready? And you're all going to probably stop at different times, but just go at your own pace. We'll start together. Squeeze every last bit out. Even when you think you don't have anything left, squeeze out some more. And then inhale. Who felt that lovely stretching in the back? Some might not yet. Hands up if you did feel that in your back. Yep, okay, let's do another one. Great. Did you feel it more the second time? So I really want you to think about where that air is going, but I don't want you to push it there. Who's not feeling it in the back? Hands up. Anyone not feeling it in the back? You're not feeling it in the back? Also, if you're feeling a bit lightheaded, if anyone's feeling lightheaded, please sit down. That can happen sometimes. Okay, for those who aren't feeling it at the back, we'll all do this one as well. So I want you to put your hands on your knees, just above your knees. And I want you to just take a big breath into your back and out. Who's feeling it in the back more there? Yeah? Take a couple of breaths there. So basically what I'm doing is just giving you little tools to get rid of all that stale air and replace it with nice fresh air, because we have all of this stale air that sits in our lungs that we don't actually get rid of unless we're doing things like, you know, yoga practice, breathing practices and things like that. So that's the start of the voice. The voice needs breath. Without breath we can't have a beautiful, resonating, floating sound. So in order to achieve that, we need the breath and we also need the diaphragm. So I work a lot, I don't actually work with microphones a lot. I tend to do concerts in really lovely acoustic spaces so that my sound is naturally resonating. So in order, oh, they've just canned my mic. There you go, now's the test, isn't it? Can you all still hear me? All right, so basically with the diaphragm is a support system and it works like this. It goes up and down all day. The singer kind of manipulates that so that it holds the breath in a certain space so that it can be carried across. So if I was to sing a note, I'll sing a note, you'll see my diaphragm, well, I'll put my hands here and you could watch what my diaphragm does. Have I got the mic on there?
No, it's off.
Oh, did you all hear me? Okay. Did you hear me at the back? Right, so that's, you can turn the mic back on, but you know, that's a great example of we don't need the mics if we are in a closed room and the acoustics, this room I would say is acoustically not fantastic, so in this case, yes, and if you're outdoors, of course you're going to need a mic. But if you find spaces that are lovely acoustics and you know how to use your voice, you've got the breath, you've got the diaphragm working, you understand the resonating cavity as well, which I'm going to, you can all sit down for a second, yeah, because I'll get you up again in a minute. So where do you suppose the resonating cavity is for a singer? Does anyone know? The resonating cavity. So, you know, when you play a piano, the hammer of, you'll hit the key, the hammer will hit the string, and then you have that impact, but then the resonating sound goes out into the big cavity of the piano. So where is our resonating cavity? Our head. Our head is our resonating cavity. And what gets a little bit confusing is that a lot of people, it's the terminology we use. A lot of singers will say, oh, they've got beautiful chest voice. Who's heard that? Chest voice. It gets used a lot. That's just a term to say that there's some lovely tone in the lower register. I actually don't use the term chest voice because what ends up happening is that my students tend to then try and put their voice down in their chest and it sounds like that. And actually you don't get much travel with sound that's in your chest. And your chest doesn't actually, there's some sympathetic resonation in the chest, but it's all happening in the head. So if you're singing a note in your low register, that's still right here. Middle register, and high. So it's all happening and it's amazing. Do you know how wonderful the buzz is in your head when you're singing those high notes? Has anyone experienced that buzz? It activates your pituitary gland and it's just so good for you. So good to have that sort of sound floating around. So anyway, we'll get you back up with your lovely posture and your breath in place. And first thing we're going to do is we are going to connect with the diaphragm. Now, some of you might struggle doing this one. It's not easy for everyone. It's called the lip trill. And we just take a breath and buzz our lips, basically. Who's having trouble buzzing the lips? Hands up. It happens sometimes. So that's it. And you know, take it up and down. So those who are having trouble, if you're having trouble, try it with your pointers at your cheeks. Sometimes that works. Did that help with the fingers there? So that's one to practice. If you're struggling with that, what that does is, and for those of you who had their hands here, could you feel your diaphragm when you were doing that? So try it again and put your hand here where your diaphragm sits. You should actually be feeling the diaphragm come out a little bit. You all sound so lovely. Yeah, so is anyone feeling that support kick in with the diaphragm? Hands up if you're feeling the diaphragm. Some? Yep. Okay, so in order for us to carry the sound, that's something to practice. Engaging the diaphragm. Another way we engage the diaphragm is just by doing a single note. So we'll do a ha, 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 ha. Can you see my tummy going in and out? Ha, 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 ha. Who's in reverse? Sometimes people go backwards. Anyone in reverse? So when it's going backwards, you've got to try and work it to come forward when you're making the sound. That's your support kicking in. Okay, the other thing now we're going to work with is the siren. Now that doesn't have anything to do with the diaphragm. Siren is a partial sound and I want to use this to kind of get you in your head cavity. So it's just basically a siren. When you're a child and you pretended you're driving a fire engine or something. It's like a let's all be, you know, fire engine drivers. We've got a crazy driver over here. So, are you feeling that buzzing in your head? Hands up, feeling buzzing in your head. And for those who are still feeling it, who's feeling it in their throat? Like who's feeling a bit of tension in the throat, dry throat, that sort of thing? Anyone? Hands up. Right, okay. So we've got to shift the focus. So singing is 98% thinking a lot of the times. So when you make that sound, and we'll do that again a couple of times, you've basically got to think the sound is coming out of your eyes. I don't know who was in choir, and the choir teachers used to say, sing out of your eyes, sing out of your eyes. Did you ever have a choir teacher like that? I did. And now I know what she meant. I had no idea what she meant when I was like 6, you know, sing out of my eyes, what? Okay, let's do the siren again, and I want you to really think about it coming out of your eyes, out of the top of your head, that area. Lovely to hear you. That's great. That's great. So basically what I wanted to do was give you guys some tools that you can practice. So the lip trill, the siren, these are things you can do like everything else, like you do your yoga or whatever else your little rituals are in the morning. If you're a school teacher, are there any school teachers here who, you know, often school teachers...
One at the back.
One at the back? Yeah, so, you know, often school teachers struggle with a lot of vocal damage, and there's a lot of vocal damage out there, even within my industry, the entertainment industry, and A-list entertainers are having steroid shots before they go out on stage because they haven't used their voices correctly, but, you know, they're well known, and for them now to retrain and find their authentic sound is going to be a real struggle for them because maybe their fans won't like it. A perfect example of that is Adele. You all know Adele. Adele's struggled with vocal damage forever, and I think she may have had some surgery now. I'm not sure what the latest was on her, but you know, it's really sad. It's really sad. So what I like to do is try and get that authentic voice and healthy voice happening from the get-go, so that if you do become a celebrity, that you're good to go till you're 100. You're not going to have any vocal damage. So, okay, now another little trick is to get the voice in the head cavity is upside down. So we're going to all hang upside down like this, and I really want you to hang your head down. Make sure you're really hanging down there, okay? And what I want you to do, we're all going to make some sounds here. We're going to sing an ah. Keep singing the ah. Keep singing, keep singing. And as you're singing upside down, I want you to slowly move to a standing position, but keep singing, because I want you to keep the focus where it is. How did that feel? Did you really feel it in your head? So basically, that's the best way. If you're a teacher and you're struggling with lessons, speak upside down for a while. Do your lesson upside down. Because what it does is it gets you out of your throat, and avoiding the inflammation that's starting to occur on the vocal folds. The vocal folds are very tiny, delicate pieces of skin that vibrate at amazing speeds. Really, that's a whole other talk on the vocal folds, because they are truly amazing. But the upside down trick is amazing. I have people come and they're really hoarse. They can't make a proper tone, and I have them upside down for a good couple of months, and then they make their first tone and they're just crying because they've shifted their focus. So could you feel that shift in the focus? Who could feel that when they're... And so when you started to stand up, did any of you slip back into your throat? Hands up if anyone felt they did.
It sort of went here and then high, but it didn't.
So when you stood up, did it go back down to here?
No, it sat here for a little while and then went up.
Yeah, so really, like, let's do it again. Let's do it one more time, just to get that feeling. And we're going to, I'm going to get you to do, because you're so good at the singing, I'm going to get you to do, hi-oh, and just keep repeating that. Hi-oh, hi-oh, hi-oh. Now stay upside down until you're really feeling that focus in your head. And then once you think you've got it, start to stand up. That was beautiful. You all sound amazing. You all sound amazing. So, I'd love for you to, for me, coming here today was about inspiring you to really connect with your voice, because when you disconnect from your voice, you're disconnecting from your feelings. And we've heard a lot about feelings this weekend, haven't we? And how it's important that we connect with our feelings. So when we are, being quiet and we don't want to speak up, or we want to sing, but someone told us 10 years ago that really wasn't an expert on singing anyway, that we couldn't sing, you just do it. If you want to do it, you do it. Because it's your journey, and I just want to see a world where we all can express ourselves without judgment. There's so many things I am so blessed to have because I sing, and I want to be able to share that with the world, because it's not a secret. We are all born to sing. So